Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are, and welcome to NerdTube. We are here to talk Book of Boba Fett, Episode 4, The Gathering Storm. I'm here with Cousin Cheeto. How you doing, mate?
Hanging in there. How you doing?
Oh, I'm very good. This was definitely, in my opinion, a much more palatable episode. What did you think?
In general, I thought it was pretty good. I'm very glad that we are past the Tusken Raider flashback. I felt like that lasted an episode or two longer than it needed to, honestly. But I'm kind of glad that we're getting in towards the modern day where it's like, he's getting his stuff back. He's getting he's trying to get his armor back. We've gotten to the first season of The Mandalorian where he meets Fennec Chan or Chain. Is it Sharan? I don't
Fennec
remember.
Shand. I think it's
Fennec
Shandy,
Hand.
but without the Y.
Gotcha. But yeah, I'm kind of glad that we're finally, moving past stupid stuff here. So
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. The flashbacks, even though they don't necessarily progress the story forward, the main arc of him being a crime lord, they haven't been that bad. If anything, some of the more modern day stuff has been a lot worse with that stupid chase scene in the town and stuff on those bikes, and even those characters themselves, they're called mods, which is a take on. But I like the take on it because back in the day, scooter drivers were called mods in the UK, who drove those very extravagant looking scooters with loads of wing mirrors and stuff like that. Very colourful, very exuberant, and that's what they were called. The mods and the rockers. I think the rockers were the leather biker gang type guys. Nevertheless, I like the fact that this time they're also called the mods on Book of Boba Fett, but it's to do with modifications to their bodies, which is a nice spin on it, overall. But nevertheless, these dickheads, well, the look of their scooters don't belong in the Star Wars universe, and I can't accept that.
I I feel like they can exist in the Star Wars universe, but they're not
Well,
like
not on
they're
Tatooine.
misplaced. They're not on Tatooine. That
Coruscant, maybe. Yeah. I mean,
yeah, I think they're misplaced in like their location, but in the Star Wars universe, no. We've got rainbow colored lightsabers going on. So that's not the thing. I think it is its placement though in Tatooine that's like really off.
I guess so. So, with the flashbacks now coming to an end in this episode, it initially begins with Boba Fett back on Tatooine, and he initially scopes out Jabba's palace, and you can see he's a bit pet friendly in this, don't you think? He likes his Rancor. He likes his what's the name of those sand dune things?
Oh, what are they called? I know what they're called.
Google it, but
Oh
the Rancor, not Rancor. My goodness.
no, actually, somebody made a comment about on your other video earlier about them. Why am I drawing a blank?
Bantha. Yeah,
Yeah, banthas.
and he seems to be a bit pet friendly, so that's pretty cool. But he obviously can't attack Jabba's palace on his own, so he decides to roam around a bit, gather his thoughts, and that's where he sees a moment from The Mandalorian season 1, which was the gunslinger episode, I believe. But we see, I think this is the point where Mando shoots a couple of flares in the sky to distract Fennec Shand and to get the runaround on her.
Yeah, and he's
Boba,
with that young dickhead who tries to betray
yeah,
Boba Fett
to
or
betray Mandalorian,
Mandalorian.
yeah.
Yeah.
But we see from Boba's perspective the flares. He sees the flares and he's attracted to it. But by the time he gets to that location, he comes across Fennec Shan's body. Now, there was a clever moment here with him taking Fennec Shan's body to the mod place on Mos Eisley, but where all these people with modifications to their body get done. But I'll be honest with you, the work done on Fennec Shan's belly, she's that's just like I'm no scientist, I'm no physician, but we're talking about removing a stomach here, like all the organs that surround there, like your liver, your kidneys, and your intestines, and all this. Like I can't contemplate it. Like, how do you? I mean, that's a level of science. That's a level of medicine that that this guy's pulling off. Putting all these pistons and stuff like that in there.
That's
That
why
was
it's a
crazy.
galaxy far, far away.
But doesn't things? I mean, I shouldn't have to necessarily think of things like this. Like you kind of understand with Vader, yeah, to a degree, like how he is. You know, his body, he's got no limbs. He's all he's mechanical in that particular sense. But he never really had like a robot belly. Fennec Shan's got this robot belly. She gets repaired. Did you like that scene, by the way, in that workshop? The music was interesting as well.
I'll
Don't
say
you
it was
think?
all right. I mean, I didn't think it was anything special, but it was all right. It didn't stand out to me as anything crazy. Like, it didn't even stand out to me as something you would probably talk about, honestly.
I thought there's something very, I don't know, very intriguing about that particular scene with the music and the sort of like the guy doing all the repairs and so on. And obviously Boba Fett, who's got loads of money, loads of credits. He's got more credits than an arcade machine. And yeah, he sprinkled that guy's hand with some coin, and he was able to do the job. And Fennec has been repaired. I mean, also like this brink of death Fennec was on. Like, how long was she on that brink of death?
I did wonder. I was kind of sitting there going, how long has she been on the brink? Like, how long has she been dying? Like, she's going to die. Like, like you just crossed like a desert. Like, how long did it take you to get there?
Exactly. Well, he we have like three campfire scenes, funny enough, during between Fennec and Boba. And the first one is just them two introducing themselves, and Boba knows who she is, and she knows who he is, but no one's really seen Boba's face. I mean, I guess they know that he's got the same appearance as as a classic stormtrooper, a clone trooper even. But
Classic stormtrooper.
yeah, a clone trooper, but no one's really seen his face. So it was a little bit
But how do we know
for
people haven't seen his face? Like I don't think he never took he never took his helmet off before, like in the movies. But we don't know if he wasn't in the movies long enough for us to actually get a picture on whether he took his helmet off a lot or not.
well, he was a bounty hunter, so he was trying to keep himself incognito to a degree. And during the course of the movies, during the original trilogy, we never saw him take his helmet off once. He was in his
That's
ship.
because he was in like 5 minutes of those movies.
Yeah, I agree. So he she so he she initially thinks that he's going to take her in for a bounty, but he says to her, look, I'm done with all that, but I do want your help. And because he saved her life, she's going to repay the favor, and then she says she's going to go on her merry way once getting the fire spray back, aka Slave One. Now, I actually had to watch this episode twice to notice the fire spray because people were talking about it on social media. Cool. Oh, it's called the fire spray. Totally missed that. Picked it up on the second viewing though. How do you feel about the name change?
I think it's dumb. I mean, I get it. You don't want to call it Slave One, so I guess is it a
I don't get it, by the way.
well, okay. I mean, this is just coming from me. I mean, I
Yeah.
can't sit here and relate. So, I mean, that's why I'm saying like, I I don't see like. I mean, I kind of see why they should change it, but at the same time, I don't like. I don't care about the new name. I don't care for it. But I can see how Slave One might be kind of offensive, but at the same time, it's like, eh, it's not like I don't know. It's just a weird thing, Like I don't. Fire Spray is kind of a dumb name. I mean, I know why they named it that, but at the same time,
Well,
it's just kind of like
before I go on to Revolution Media's comment, I just want to say that slavery has been mentioned in Star Wars, I think, all the time. Slavery is something that happens in Star Wars. With Anakin is a slave himself, well, is a former slave himself, and so was his mum. So calling a ship Slave One is not a big deal. This is a level of censoring that I think is absolutely fucking ridiculous. and these sort of renames. It's not the end of the world, but it's a bit like this football club calling their stadium they were calling it the JD Sports Arena when it used to be called St James's Park. There's a team called Newcastle, which had once their team got sponsorship, they renamed it to the JD Sports Arena, and everyone kept calling it St James's Park regardless of the rename. And same with Slave One. It might be called the Fire Spray, but I think I'm going to stick to Slave One. What do you want, huh? You want my teeth? Not today. Anyways, so yeah. Anyway, Revolutionary Media has said, not totally on topic, but isn't Bad Batch returning? What effect doing between Emery's rise in Empire's rise? I think he meant. I think he might have missed that P. Empire's rise in revenge, and Empire Strikes Back just random bounties. Well, there is in the special editions of Star Wars and New Hope, you do see Boba Fett there when Han is talking to Jabba the Hutt. So he's there doing his bounty hunter thing. But regarding how he becomes a bounty hunter, they're still kind of in the dark, to tell you the truth. I mean, you see him a lot as a kid during the Clone Wars, but that period where he learns his trade, so to speak, it's a bit in the dark. And that's something I guess that could be fleshed out at some particular point. So Fennec and Boba, they go break into Jabba's palace. They have this little reconnaissance sort of floaty droid, this little thing with little red lights all over it, flying around, getting a lay of the land. Became a bit like a video game, don't you think?
Yeah, a little bit. I kind of thought that actually. I was kind of like, oh.
Like you got these video guards. You got these guards walking around, like,
and they don't even see it. Like,
no, but like when you play a video game and you got guards and they're always walking that same fucking pattern, like step for step. Yeah, it just felt like that. Seriously, you're gonna walk like that? You're not gonna feel relaxed. So if you have weeks upon weeks of no invasions, no interruptions, you're not gonna just be relaxed on the job, surely. But nevertheless, they break in through the sewers, and then we have some nice moments with some droids. The first droid gets taken out. The second droid has all these arms and was chopping salad. And then some people were reminded of General Grievous because he started spinning the fucking blades around.
Yeah.
But have you ever seen some of the Sinbad movies from the 70s?
No.
You know, with the stop motion animation and stuff like that, Harry Harrison and stuff like that.
Nope, never seen that.
Well, there was this statue of Shiva who's got 6 arms. She comes alive and she has a sword on each arm, and that's what I was thinking of because they kind of made it.
I think I know what you're talking about, though. Now that you describe it like that, I think I know what you're talking about.
So yeah, and that kind of reminded me of that. But Fennec slits his throat because you can slit a droid's throat, no problem in the Disney universe. And then before they move on, Disney reminds you that it's Disney by having a cute little rat catcher droid. Something you've only seen in the cartoons, but now it's in live action format.
Yeah, it reminded me of one of the Muppets. What's the rat Muppet from the Muppets?
I can see that.
But yeah, he reminded me of that. And then it was very cheesy because, and that actually was a point of contention for me in this episode, where he grabbed the droid by the throat, put it up against the wall and says, "You know who I am? I'm Boba Fett." And it's like, why are you doing this to a stupid droid? Like, what?
Yeah, this tiny ass little droid that's
like, it doesn't care. It's going to self-destruct itself. Like, what?
Well, it shat itself so much it switched itself off.
Yeah.
But they finally get to Slave One, and we have a nice little shootout scene. It looks like Gonk droids are walking bombs by the looks of things, because Fennec she shot one and that thing blew up, taking out a few of the Lin Kuei. They fought a couple of Gamorrean guards. I think they're the same Gamorreans that are now bodyguarding them by the looks of things, because those guys did not bite the bullet. They seem to just beat them up but not kill them. But they killed a few other Lin Kuei, so that was interesting. But they finally get the hell out of there. And once they do, obviously Fennec's debt has been repaid. She helped him get Slave One back, but she decides to stick around for a little bit longer. So What do you think of of the the capture of Slave One?
The capture or the rescue of Slave One?
Rescue, capture, breaking into to Jabba's palace, seeing more parts of the palace, the droid fights and
I
the
mean,
alien fights.
it was good to see the expansion on Jabba's palace. I mean, we've seen now we're seeing parts of Jabba's palace we've never seen before. I mean, it's a little bit more interesting. We're learning a little bit more of the lore of like Jabba, of like the crime lords and how they run things, and I mean little things here and there that are kind of nice to see. That really they don't essentially matter, but it's just nice to know. But yeah, no, I thought it was fun. As I said, the only thing that kind of really bugged me was the that little droid, like that little. It was just stupid when he like grabbed it by the neck, put up against the wall, and said, "Hey, you know who I am? I am Boba Fett." And it's like that was the stupidest thing ever.
He called him a bugger as well, which was hilarious too. But
Yeah, like I expected a Black Betty to that Betty, him running around trying to
yeah,
grab the thing. Like,
it was like Tom and Jerry. I
yeah,
mean,
it was very Tom and
ironically,
Jerry.
I mean, but this time the rat catcher is the mouse. But nevertheless, we are now flying around Tatooine in Slave One, and Boba's got some unfinished business to deal with, and Fennec decides to hang around for a bit longer. And then we get probably one of the most satisfying moments, in my opinion, of the Book of Boba Fett. We see that biker gang,
Oh
and
yeah.
Boba obliterates them, absolutely obliterates them. And I mentioned this in my own personal review that 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 I give Disney credit for pulling off a scene like that because it was just a slaughter. He slaughtered the shit out of them, and obviously these guys deserve it for what they've done to the Tusken Raiders. But still, it's not Disney like, and it upsets me thinking that I get surprised that when Disney does something like that, when I shouldn't be surprised by it. If it was HBO Max, I wouldn't be battering an eyelid that HBO Max pulled this off. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's my annoyance with Disney, and we have these Disney moments like the rat catcher, and then Disney are out of their element, so to speak, with them slaughtering those bikers. But yeah, boy, did they deserve it. But payback isn't. It hasn't been completed just then. We get another visit to the Sarlacc Pit. What do you think of that scene?
It's all right. I feel like so Boba Fett just doesn't remember that his armor got pulled off him. He just thinks that it was pulled off him in the Sarlacc pit.
He
Like I
wasn't.
don't.
Yeah, he was unconscious, and we got confirmation, by the way, that it's Beskar.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, because it was not there was always speculation of what his armor was made out of, but it's been confirmed it's Beskar.
Oh, I've always just assumed it's Beskar because it looks like it's Mandalorian armor. So
Yeah, but remember, Din Djarin, his earlier armor wasn't Beskar. It wasn't until he
I
got
guess
paid
that's
all that
true.
best. You know what I mean? So
True that. I
anyway,
guess that's true.
so regarding that scene, did you like the fact we killed off that Sarlacc monster? Boba got his revenge on it.
I mean, it didn't even seem like he wanted to kill it. He just wanted to find his armor, and like I feel like he was sympathetic. Like you're right, he's definitely an animal lover because he was. It actually seemed like he was sympathetic to it because he's like, I mean, he could have just blasted it all to hell and then just gone in there and got it, but he didn't. He was actually looking for it. Like he was trying to find it before before it launched out and grabbed it and then kind of gave him no choice. I'm kind of confused on the anatomy of the Sarlacc. So is like that is it like an alien, like a xenomorph where it's like the
That
mouth, like
little
that?
shop of horrors.
Yeah, like is it that the little mouth that comes out, but then like the actual pit itself is the mouth, but like this thing comes out and like there's another mouth, like
Well, that head we saw was added in the special editions of the late 90s, and
oh I know, I trust me, I've heard
so
nothing.
so since then it's very hard to have an understanding of how the Sarlacc operates. But once I saw that mouthpiece swallow that seismic charge,
Mhm.
I knew it was game over.
Oh yeah.
and I'm very happy to know that Sarlacc has been killed. and Boba was able then to go inside, and that was a really good moment. We got like Fennec using her initiative and stuff like that, and Boba weirdly just said, "Don't touch my buttons." It's a bit like that moment in Rush Hour where you don't touch another guy's radio and stuff like that. So yeah, nevertheless, it was a cool little scene, another little action scene. But personally, it would have been better for Boba Fett just to fly over it and drop a seismic charge in one time. But he was probably worried about destroying his Beskar because even the Beskar armor might not be able to handle the seismic charge. So anyway, all right. So but by this particular point, everything kind of wraps up. You know, Fennec is willing to stay with him a little bit longer. He basically explains, listen, we're constantly being used as cannon fodder. We are tools for the elites. Why don't we become elites ourselves? Why don't we become like the bosses? And he persuades Fennec, to do that. And Fennec says, initially I'll do whatever job you want me to do. But he goes, no, look, I'm going to offer you something you've never been offered before, and that's loyalty. And I'll cut you in on our deals. You'll be my right hand woman, all of that. My second in command. We'll work together on all of this, and we then obviously cut to present day, and Boba comes out of the back of the tank, and he's fully healed, and that for me confirmed that the flashbacks are over.
Okay.
I mean, it's not just that as well, but I think a lot of people prior to this were wondering that what's happened to Boba Fett. He's kind of weak, even though people don't know much about Boba Fett. He's a bit of an enigma, but they thought he was kind of weak. But that was kind of brought up during the course of this episode with Fennec and Boba, saying that being with the Tusken Raiders has made you weak. And Boba responded,
I'm glad they brought that up because it does seem like they've nerfed him. I mean, even though it is story driven, I still feel like they've nerfed Boba Fett. I mean, as I said, me, I've never been a huge fan of the original Boba Fett, but I mean, I'm still not. I feel like they're still this show is not doing him any favors, in my opinion. It has a chance to redeem the character, but I mean, it's not doing any favors right now. Actually, I'm getting more out of Fennec than I am.
Fennec is way more gangster.
Yeah,
than Boba.
At least once an episode, I see her give that, man, I will cap these motherfuckers look. Like she does. She always, like, if you look for, you can, like, I'm about to make a counter for every time she gives Boba Fett that look. She's like, I would cap these fuckers, and you're sitting here like whatever with them.
Exactly. But Boba said that being with that tribe, and I'll be honest with you, like the passing of 5 years wasn't really really wasn't shown well during the course of these first 4 episodes. But Boba said that being with that tribe has made him stronger. He's learned that he's not to be on his own. He's supposed to be part of a crew. So this loner mentality, he's kind of like dropped it. He wants to be more than just a bounty hunter, which is also very cool to know that he has bigger ambitions.
I want him to be. I want him to be a gangster. Is what I want him to be. But
yeah, I guess. But he's taking it. Obviously he's adapting it with his tribal sort of mindset that he picked up being with the Tusken. So, if you try to put all these sort of like working together and stuff like that, that's how he's taking it. It's unusual, but fair enough. It makes sense, if you look at it from that particular perspective. So we'll see how that pans out. But we're now in the modern day, like basically 2/3 of this episode was flashback, but at least we know it's over. And for some people who don't like the flashbacks or don't like the idea of flashbacks, at least it can be satisfied knowing we won't be getting any more. We probably won't be getting any more. Can't say definitely, but probably won't be getting any more flashbacks in future episodes. So here we are, modern day, and Boba's out of the tank. Do you remember what happened there after he gets out of the tank? And I'm a bit hazy.
It's the table. He does the whole gangster sit down at the table and he talks with everybody, isn't that?
No, not that, not that. I mean, I remember
Oh no. He goes
he go
to
he goes into town. He goes to Mos
yeah.
Espa, and that's where we see Black Chrysanthemum getting
Yep.
drunk.
You are correct. I forgot that happened. Why did he get out of? I think he just might have just been getting out of the back of the tank just because. But why did he go into town? I think I missed that.
No, because he said there was something about a power vacuum,
Hmm.
and he wants his face to be shown. He wants people to see that he's still around. You know, they don't want him to think that he's hiding and stuff. So he goes showing his face around, and Black Chrysanthemum's just sitting there, and he's getting drunk as fuck. And I'll tell you what, you know what's worse than an angry Wookiee? A drunk angry Wookiee. And
Right.
he's seeing these Trandoshians, and if you know about the lore of Trandoshians and Wookiees, they absolutely hate each other, Bobby. They
Well, and
absolutely.
actually, I was going to bring up the fact that we did that video that we watched about Black Stanston and
It's on our channel,
about
by the way. Please
huh?
watch it. Just
Yeah, it
telling
is.
people, yeah,
It's a video that we did 2 weeks, maybe a week or two ago when he
yeah.
first
Star
debuted.
Star, Star Wars theory,
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, we watched a video, and I would have known nothing about this rivalry unless we had watched that video. I would have been like, oh, they were just probably annoying him, and you never annoy a Wookiee, but like I would have never have known that it was like a big deep vendetta, until somebody explained it to me. So I guess you're right, Zam. I guess this is, it did give us a little bit of insight into Kristansson and all that. So
It helps. It helps, knowing your lore. And we see Chris Hansen getting drunk, and he's clocking these guys, and they're all playing some sort of Star Wars casino game. Maybe not Sabak, but something for
it's
sure.
funny because they're just like minding their own business. Like I don't even think they're like
Yeah,
bad guys or anything. I just think that they're there having a good time winning money.
yep. And Black Chris Hansen just gets up and starts beating the fuck out of them. And he's like throwing them around, and he's ragdolling them, and he hasn't really killed anyone, but he's fucking them over. And then finally, Jennifer Bills and her fucking fabulous fucking cleavage comes into play, and she's trying to stop Black Chrysanthemum from doing any more damage. She talks him, says what he saw in the gladiator pits and stuff like that.
Flattering him. No,
What the
there's
fuck? That would have worked on Chewbacca, in my opinion.
you
You
would have
know,
or wouldn't have.
it would
Oh
have
yeah.
worked, but Black Chrysanthemum, he's gangster. Yeah, and he's even been offered, like, to have his tab taken care of, wiped off the debt on the tab, but he don't give a fuck, and he rips the fucking Trandoshan's arm off.
I think she still
Very so.
forgave his debt. I think she just.
No, he paid. He paid straight out. He straight afterwards. There was another Twi'lek, and he,
Oh
he, he
yeah,
dropped
yeah,
some
yeah, yeah.
credits in our hand. He didn't want a clear. He didn't want his satisfaction to either for him. It was worth paying for. But then he walks out, and then Boba tells Jennifer Big Tits, "Yeah, nice shot, nice try. At least you gave it a go." But then he follows Black Chrysanthemum out, and he goes, "Hey mate." He calls him mate. I love that proper
Hey
fucking
mate.
Kiwi with his Kiwi accent, and tells him, "Yeah, you want a job?"
And I knew that was coming. As soon as I saw Chris Hansen sitting there and Boba Fett walked in, I'm like, this is going to end up being him offering him a job. And I figured they would come together in this. And I mean, I think it is very, and I know this is like from the lore and from the extended lore, whatever, the extended canon, whatever you want to call it. But it's kind of cheesy in my opinion that now Boba Fett also has a Wookiee sidekick. You know what I mean? Like it's out of all the races in the universe, of course, Boba Fett now finds a Wookiee sidekick. And don't even get me wrong, Black Chrysanthemum's cool. I like him. I like the character, but it's just so convenient that now
I
Han
like him
Solo
more
and
than
Chewbacca,
Chewbacca.
yeah, it's like Han and Chewbacca, and now it's like bad Han and Chewbacca. Like
Yeah, yeah.
it's just it's
Well,
it's a bit
I
cheesy
wouldn't
in
say.
my.
I would look. I would definitely put. I mean, like Han himself is no goody two shoes. Let's remember that. Yeah, he
Mhm.
kind of, and Chewbacca is just somebody.
Han shot first.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And Chewbacca is definitely the angelic one of the two.
Oh
just
yeah,
that
Chewbacca's the good guy.
yeah. Just that he's part of a species that gets fucked over a lot, so he's always on defense. So they're not that different. It's like people say the light side and dark side of 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 either duo, but I would say the grey side and the grayer side, maybe a grey light side and a grey dark side, so to speak.
Light gray and gray.
Yeah,
Or light gray and dark gray.
yeah,
No, I
exactly.
agree. I agree. That's yep.
But we finally get our familia section, which is the last thing we've kind of seen from the trailer, so to speak, with not the five families, but the three families sitting around this table, basically talking about how the Pikes are coming in to take over.
And I'm sorry. I'm gonna show my butt. My
your
not
butt,
knowing.
and I don't want to see it.
No, I'm gonna show my butt. But what is are the Pikes something that I should know about? Because I don't know anything about these Pikes. Like I know that they're a part of a gangster.
They are, I think, a part of Crimson Dawn, which and we've seen them in Clone Wars, and I think
I know what Crimson Dawn is. I just have never heard of
saw that in
Pikes.
Solo. So there's a lot of teasers apparently scheduled for future episodes. For instance, because the Crimson Dawn's been teased, we might see Kira from Solo.
That's probably my thought too. Is that we're gonna see either Kira or we're going to see Chewbacca, because Chewbacca would be an easy one to pull off. I mean, shit, they could bring in young Han Solo and put him in the last episode. I mean, I heard rumors
they can't bring Alden Ehrenreich, or whatever the fuck his name is, because we're talking about after Return of the Jedi, it should be Harrison Ford. And the rumor is, if you want a spoiler, guys, is that Harrison Ford has done some filming in London regarding the book of Boba Fett, and they're going to de-age him, like they've done with Mark Hamill.
I mean, come on, you're going to the same trick twice in a row. You know what I mean?
Well, how else are you going to do it, though? I mean, like
Harrison Ford. I don't know. Mark Hamill. If you shave Mark Hamill's face, he looks young for his age. Harrison Ford looks in his 70s. So I mean,
he's almost 80, by the way.
Yeah,
79.
I know. Yeah, like I mean, this is something I don't want. Bringing these legacy characters back and de-aging them and doing all. I mean, I don't want that. I didn't like Luke Skywalker doing it. I didn't like. I wouldn't like Han Solo. As I said, Chewbacca is somebody you can pull off because it's a costume. It's a, it's whatever, But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, look, before we go on about more legacy characters, just want to quickly end the dining room scene with Boba basically asking these other syndicates that, look, we're going to be taken over by the Pikes, and I need your help. But everyone else doesn't give a shit about Boba because their territories are fine. And so Boba basically says, okay, fine, look, you don't want to help me, then don't fucking betray me. That's all I'm asking. Don't fucking stay neutral and don't work with the Pikes. Now, whether that will happen or not, I'm not so sure. I think Boba is anticipating that they might fuck him over, but
I'm sure the one at the end of the table is going to. I was sitting there watching that going, yeah, he's going to be the one that actually is working with the Pikes to get rid of Boba Fett. I think the two in the middle are just they're going to try to stay as neutral as possible until they get forced into joining somebody, and they're probably going to join the Pikes because they want to put everybody against Boba Fett, like in his crew, and then Boba Fett's crew is going to come out on the top. Here's what I want to propose for my fan ending. I want Boba Fett to get driven off Tatooine. I want them to kill the hog. What are they?
The Gamorreans.
Gamorreans. I want them to kill the Gamorreans. I want them to kill the mods. I want them to gangster. I want them to gangster basically whack the entire Boba Fett family and drive him off the planet. So in season 2, he's still like kind of having to fight his way up, for him to get overtaken by the Pikes.
Well, look. By the end of this episode, Fennec and Boba are chatting, and they're realizing they need more muscle. They've got plenty of money, loads of credit, so they need some muscle. and that's where we hear the Mando theme.
Oh yeah, I noticed that. I'm like, is that the Mandalorian theme?
So Mandalorian is no longer babysitting anymore. He's no longer surrogate daddy. So he could be available for a few jobs.
Yeah.
He's gone back to business again.
Well, now we're
And
gonna have the role reversal where Boba Fett was there to help out Mando. Now Mando might be there to help out Boba, and we might even see some other characters from the Mando series. Maybe.
yeah, exactly. So it'll be interesting to see who we see. We might see Bo-Katan. We might obviously see Mandalorian. Now, some people are expecting him to make a comeback in the next episode. I'm not sure if that'll be immediate. I can imagine them ending the episode with Din Djarin walking into frame, so it gets people to watch the following episode after that. But
Also, I don't know if you saw this or not, and this is spoilers for any not spoilers for possibly upcoming Disney Plus series, but apparently Ming-Na Wen congratulated the actress. What was her name? Who played Bo-Katan?
oh, Katie Sackhoff.
Yeah, Katie Sackhoff for she congratulated Katie Sackhoff for her spinoff on Disney Plus. Immediately, of course, pulling it down. I think Disney does this on purpose. They're like, here, we're going to have you post this for 30 seconds so the nerds can grab it, and then we'll delete it so it looks like it wasn't supposed to be there. But we want to tease everybody and see how people react to it.
Yeah, you know what? That makes total sense.
I mean, I really feel like they do this to us on purpose. Like, and so what our reaction to this Bo-Katan news is going to gauge whether or not we're actually going to get it or not. But I mean, maybe Bo-Katan will be in the next episode because I mean, Bo-Katan, Mandalorian, weren't they all together at the end of season 2? I think they were all still together after.
Yeah. Apart from Boba Fett, who had to
who
disappeared at the end because he was just there as he was a decoy, you know. But yeah, Fennec and Boba, Fennec and the Mandalorians and Din Djarin, they were all together when Luke Skywalker. Fennec was. She was there.
No, she was there with Boba Fett, not the Mandalorian.
No, she was there in Mandalorian, the final episode.
Yeah,
but Boba disappeared, and then we had 4 women and Mando. The 4 women were Gina Carano's character, Fennec Shand, and the 2 Mandalorians. One of them being what's their face from the WWE?
Yeah.
Tyler Banks or
Tyler
Banks.
Tyler Banks.
What the fucking name is. Yeah. So
but then you know, Fennec showed up with Fennec then showed up with Boba Fett at the after credits for this build up to Book of Boba.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like she wasn't gonna hang around with them forever.
But I feel like maybe like all those Mandalorians are kind of just hanging out like together, like not hanging out, but like they're still probably together. Yeah, on Mandalore, and maybe that's why Boba. You know, we hit the Mandalorian music, and maybe we'll see Katie Sackhoff's Bo-Katan, and we'll see Tyler Banks or whatever her name is, and
well, it'll be good. This could be a good time maybe for Boba to leave Tatooine if he can afford to without his shit getting fucked over.
I'm pretty sure if he leaves, it's done. Like if they know he's gone, like they're invading that palace, and I mean, all they got there are what the mods and the Gamorreans, like, and now Costanston, like.
They got the mods. They got Danny Trejo, and they've got a Rancor.
But that's more. I mean, Danny Trejo doesn't seem like he's much of a fighter. Like he's not going to fight off a bunch of like assassins. Like, you know, I can see him just being there to like train the Rancor and being badass, but not really actually like being like a super badass. Like he's just killing people left and right with all of his badassery moves.
Yeah, I know, but he's Danny Trejo. He might pull out some machetes.
Oh yeah, I mean, as I said, I don't think he's like defenseless. I don't think he's gonna scream like a girl. I just think like he's just not like taking people out left and right, like you know, like Boba Fett would or Fennec would, or you know.
No, I agree. So we'll see. We'll see how that pans out next week. As many directions it can go. We could go with Boba going to Mandalore, or just finding out where Din Djarin is and trying to recruit him. It could be him just sending out a message, and then Din Djarin comes to Tatooine as well. I also believe we might see some more Tusken Raiders. I think Boba's got. Come on, leave me alone. I think Boba's got a good relationship with them now, so obviously,
Well, I think the female Tusken or the female Tusken Raider's coming back.
Kylo Hen.
Yeah, Kylo Hen. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
she's gonna come back by the end of this too. I feel like because we never saw her body, right? Like we saw her spear, but I don't think we saw her body, if I remember correctly.
from what I know, yeah. So
So,
we'll see how that pans out. But yeah, there is well, I mean, this is well, we're into episode 5 next week, and with this being God damn it, Bird, with this being a 7 episode arc, we're into the end game, which is interesting to know.
well, 3 more episodes. I mean, there's still 3 more episodes though, 5, 6, and 7. So I mean, we've got a little bit longer to
No,
go.
but
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 definitely
the end
after
game,
the next.
this is
But
the beginning of the end game, in my opinion.
I mean, yeah, I would say we're getting in the end game after next episode. But yeah, I mean, to each their own, whatever.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I mean, I think 13.2 minutes into the next episode, we'll be entering the end game.
it'll be good to see Black Chrysanthemum in this. Hopefully, get some more screen time. He seems to be, the most popular character to come out of this so far. I'm loving Fennec Shan. I'd love to see a spin-off show with her. Maybe not necessarily a sequel show, but like a prequel show. Of her time as a bounty hunter.
I don't know. I mean, I kind of want to see like.
I want to see a bounty hunter doing bounty hunter shit.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to think of. Like I was trying to think of a clever name for a bounty hunter show doing bounty hunter shit. Like every episode we follow a different bounty hunter doing a different bounty. IG-88, Bosk, Fennec Chan.
That's actually an excellent idea.
Like, I mean, but don't do it like
Mandalorian
even. Yeah, like before season 1. Like just and each episode is a different, and don't do stupid like Visions, like where it's like one, it's like animated in one episode. No, give us a legit show with this kind of budget, with this kind of storytelling, except they're not linked together or anything like that. Just each individual episode is its own thing. And if you want to put some big reveal at the end, even you can jump through time, like not like literally, but like like
different time periods, different periods.
Yeah, different periods. Like you could go before A New Hope, or you could even go back to the Phantom Menace. Like what bounty hunters are around during Phantom Menace. You could do just tons of shit. I mean,
somebody said they'll love to see a show on Captain Phasma.
I would, maybe not a show, but I would. I wonder that what would be really cool is if we found out that Phasma was a bounty hunter prior to becoming Phasma, and then like they show her adventures in that episode of her leading up to being recruited by the First Order.
Exactly, I would love.
We could actually see like the actress. I can't remember her name, but I've heard she's really good. And
from Game of Thrones, yeah,
and I've heard she's really good. So it'd be nice to see her in an episode where she's not like, totally like a tool, like that, because she got tooled out in both movies.
It's funny, yeah, because she's a very tall lady, and when she was in Game of Thrones, they kind of masculined her up because she played like a female knight who had short hair and all of that. But when she wants to, and she wants to look very attractive, she can. And being very tall, she's got fantastic legs, man. You know what I mean? Honestly, legs that go on for miles and fucking miles. So yeah, she can be very hot when she wants to be, and I would love to see a Captain Phasma show, but I don't think we'll ever get there. I mean, the one prequel series they are giving us, nobody wants. I will watch it in Andor.
I'm excited for Andor only because it's the only series that sounds like it's going to give me kind of what I want. I do want to see a show that's solely based on the rebellion. I would love I kind of want a oh god, what's the name of Oscar Isaac's character? And why am I losing?
Poe Dameron.
Yeah, I would love a Poe Dameron series. Like just about him being a pilot. Whether it's, I would prefer it after The Last Jedi, just to kind of move us forward a little bit. But I would love a Poe Dameron series, like just fighter pilots. He's Black Squadron, Red Squadron, whatever squadron he was a part of. And they're going through this campaign or something like that where they're tracking down the remnants of the First Order, yada yada yada, and stuff like that. Like I would love something like that. Me, I'm done with Jedi. I mean, I tolerated it before, but now it's just everywhere, and I hate that it's everywhere. I could tolerate the Jedi's before, but not anymore. It's just too much. That's why I want all of these shows that are just about the extended lore. Not even
One
extended
more
lore,
thing.
anything outside of the Jedi.
One more thing. It wasn't brought up in this episode, but has been brought up on several occasions. It's regarding the fact that Tatooine used to have oceans and all that sort of stuff. Now, if they don't get rid of the sequel trilogy and they do keep it as part of its lore, then I can't see Tatooine being covered in oceans in Boba Fett, because at the end of Rise of Skywalker, Rey's on Tatooine burying Luke and Leia's lightsabers in the sand. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
That was the final scene. And Tatooine in that episode, in that shot, didn't look like it was covered in water. So I don't know where they're going to go with this. Are we going to get flashbacks to when Tatooine was covered in water and how it became sand?
I don't know. I don't really need to see that. I mean, it's an interesting part. It's an interesting tidbit of lore, but I really don't need to see it unless we're actually going to travel to that time period in a show. And like, if they did like a Knights of the Old Republic, or an Old Republic series, like they just one of these episodes they go to Tatooine and it's like not like desert. It's like there's desert and there's water, there's mountains and water, and
it was the early period of the Jedi, like maybe 23,000 years ago, apparently. But I'll be honest, like for new life to evolution is when people talk about it, it happens over millions of years, not over thousands.
Mm-hmm.
And if you destroy all life on Tatooine and turn the oceans into sand, then there would be no life on that planet at all, like no natural life, because it
well,
would
a lot of
it would be able
Tatooine
to,
water is underground. Like that's what
they
they
wouldn't
say.
be able. Yeah, I don't know how it works, but it wouldn't be able to sustain like how does new life create itself? It has, banthas and stuff. Are they natural to Tatooine?
Yeah, they probably evolved over millions of years to like they probably originally were, forest.
Yeah, but that's
creatures.
millions of years. This happened thousands of years ago. So yeah, there's a big difference there.
Well, maybe something happened that dried
I'm
up.
making a big deal of it, because when I see apart from Boba feeding that bantha, it makes me wonder what do they fucking eat? Like like it's roaming around. They're like buffalo of the fucking deserts. What do they fucking eat? So
Dude, I love it. I love it when Boba Fett told him to go make baby banthas. I'm like, go make some baby banthas. I'm like, oh god. I said, Boba Fett, man, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Go make baby banthas. I
well,
want
like
to
I
see
said,
good grandbabies.
he finally got a bit gangster when he killed those fucking bikers. You saw it in his face. It's like he was almost giving that Elvis slip. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, I'm killing these motherfuckers. And I very much appreciated that.
It's too bad he's not being gangster anywhere else.
Well, the funny thing is like being a crime lord means that you're not necessarily the most popular person in the society you're in, because you're extracting from them. So how's he gonna be a crime lord in? Like, how does that work? I mean, like,
This is the problem, because they're trying to like if they're making Boba Fett a crime lord, they're nerfing him. And it's like that's why I'm saying like that dude, like the Twi'lek, like he should be dead. Like he should be dead by now. Like I know they said they were torturing him and he was singing. Like, but in episode 1, he should have been dead. The mayor should have been dead.
but the point about being a crime lord is that you exploit the people in the society around you. You have it good, they don't have it good. That's how it works.
Well, I don't think Boba Fett wants to be a crime lord in that aspect. I think he wants to be fair, but he wants to be paid his due. And like, and he wants to, he pays for, people pay for protection and he provides it. Is it exploiting people? Not really. If you're actually delivering the service, I mean,
if he's offering drugs and like illegal narcotics like spice and stuff like that, that's a different ball game, and you can obviously charge a higher rate because people want all that sort of stuff. A bit like prohibition in the 1920s of America, where they overcharged for alcohol because it became illegal. He could do that, I guess. But
Oh, but he told him to lower his prices for the water, which, as I said, I understand, but I don't know. Maybe he's looking to become more of a kingpin, like just like he wants to run everything instead of just like.
But even Kingpin exploited the people around. That's how you are as a crime lord. You exploit the little man. You know.
Well, he
You do.
exploits his own people, but I mean, like the normal people, he just kind of leaves alone and let them do their thing. Like,
Yeah, I
no,
don't
I know
know.
it's kind of a bad comparison. I get it. Like the more I think about it, you're right. But you see where I'm leaning towards, though. I mean,
when
like,
you say like if he fucks over other crime lords and stuff like that to a degree, but like he's breaking bread with these other crime lords. He's saying, "I won't fuck with you guys. You don't fuck with me." You know, so it'll be interesting to see where we go with this in the next few episodes. But I'm banking on some good moments now. Obviously, people are expecting Mandalorian to pay a visit.
I mean, they did play
And
the music, so it's gotta I would say it's gotta happen before the end of next episode. It's gotta be at least midway through next
well,
episode.
they could do a Luke Skywalker where, maybe not Luke Skywalker, but then again, Boba Fett did show his face in episode 6, and then Luke Skywalker showed his face in episode 8. But you know, like they kind of set it up to a degree. Like, okay, we're going to bring in the Mandalorian, but we don't see him. Like people will immediately expect to see him in episode 5, and if we don't see him, then they'll probably think, okay, episode 6, and then we have to see him in episode 7, but that's the final episode.
I mean,
You know?
I'm still waiting for Reed Richards to show up in WandaVision. So I mean,
Yeah, exactly. There's just so much going on now. I heard like they're doing casting for Ahsoka,
mhm.
and they apparently, this is the funny thing, because I heard a particular actor, I think one of the Skarsgårds was going to play at Grand Admiral Thrawn, and he looked like a good character to play him. But apparently they're still casting for Grand Admiral Thrawn. So
I mean, he may not be a big part of the first couple episodes. They may do the reveal like mid-season or something like that. Maybe that's why they haven't even
interesting.
casted him yet.
Oh, but it just goes to show that, I mean, it goes to show that Grand Admiral Thrawn is going to be revealed in Ahsoka, and he won't be revealed in any other medium. I would like his name to be mentioned in Book of Boba Fett, though. That would be nice, just maybe once.
I
in
want
some capacity.
Grand Admiral Thrawn, like in my opinion, I want Grand Admiral Thrawn to be like the Thanos of Star Wars right now. Because in the old like canon, or not old canon, but like in the old TIE Fighter games and stuff like that, Grand Admiral Thrawn rebelled against the Empire. And like Grand Admiral Thrawn was almost as powerful as the Emperor in the like, so I get it, it's like it's a civil war on top of a civil war, so it was kind of a bit much.
Well,
But
in Legends, he was in the Outer Rim, so he came like when he found out about Palpatine dying and all of that. That was news to him, and he was basically the next in charge, and he took over, and he's a very intelligent man. He's not egotistical as a general. He's happy to walk away from fights if it's more beneficial to do so. He doesn't get emotional in that particular sense. It'll be interesting to see where they go with him. And obviously this will have to continue off with the Ezra Bridger storyline from Rebels, because that's all canon now. And for fuck's sake.
Well, I'm pretty sure that everything that happened in Clone Wars and in Rebels is pretty much canon at this point. I mean, they've pretty much alluded to with Bo-Katan, with a lot of the other stuff. I mean, they've kind of they've kind of basically alluded to the fact that, okay, like Clone, even though we said it's all not canon, they've basically brought Clone Wars and Rebels into canon again.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if you saw in Rebels. In Rebels, Bridger, it's not like a self-sacrifice, but he went into some sort of hyperspace where
he took Thrawn with him.
And so I think towards the Outer Rim and stuff like that. But they're gonna come back. So
yeah, I mean, it's not like they died; they just hyperspaced. I mean, I don't know. I haven't watched the series all the way through.
Well, as for Bridger, like he could be a live-action character. Yeah.
I mean, I've heard rumors of a live action Rebels, but I mean, we'll see. I don't know. I mean,
there's a lot that they can do, but if they bring back if they bring back Thrawn, they have to bring back Bridger because people will be wondering what the fuck happened to him.
Well, that's
And
what
they want
I
to connect the
mean.
dots.
But a lot of people are saying that might be what is it, Rangers of the New Republic or Rangers of the Republic or something like that? Like they thought that might involve a lot of Rebels characters. Like it might be like this just
No, that has
Avengers.
been because of Gina Carano. That's kind of been put on the back burner now, or maybe not even come out at all.
Well, but that's what I'm saying with Gina Carano and all that other stuff. She was going to be one of the headliners of it, but also other Rebels characters were going to come back in it because it's basically going to be like the Avengers of Star Wars.
Yeah.
So that's what
all
I
going
mean.
to be with the series as well. Like, is there any? Because like the movies they're doing is to do with the New Republic, and in my opinion, that's gonna flop. Yeah. I'm
Wait,
getting
is the
really
New
worried.
Republic, is that after Rise of
Sorry, I
Skywalker?
apologize. I apologize. Not the High Republic.
The High Republic. That's the one that was like what 500 years ago or 100 years ago or
Yeah,
something. Like that?
but yeah. So like they're gonna basically create an enemy that is because like the Mandalorians were the second biggest enemy of the Jedi. After the Sith, and they're gonna have to try and create some sort of enemy in the High Republic era that makes the Jedi on edge, but it's not the Sith at the same time because they can't do the Sith, or then we have serious continuity errors. So
It'll be the Grievuses.
yeah, so it's gonna be interesting to see where we go with that in the future and stuff because they boxed themselves in the corner now. A Sith, we haven't seen a Sith in over a millennia. Well, then you better fucking stick with that.
Yeah,
What I mean,
right.
you better fucking stick with that because if you don't, then we're fucked.
Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah, no, I mean, yeah, that's when them being saying stuff like that. I haven't seen a Sith in a millennia. That doesn't mean they weren't around, but at the same time, it's like you can't do any big galactic events based around the Sith because they're not supposed to be around. That's like Wonder Woman 1984. It's like, oh, she hasn't been seen
yeah, they
since
blew it.
World War
Yeah,
One, but yet she's running around
then,
on the streets of Washington D.C. in '84. Like,
and not just that, but she ended up being in everyone's brain when with the Wishmaster.
yeah,
Pedro Pascal's fucking character. She ended up having to convince everyone to take back their wishes.
yeah. See,
the whole fucking planet.
There's our segue right there. Is Pedro Pascal in Wonder Woman 1984? So yeah, great segue. Me.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Well, tomorrow, I just want to tell everyone that tomorrow we'll be back doing another live show, and we'll be talking about the piss taker himself, Peacemaker, played by the extremely talented John Cena, who, in my opinion, has finally found his calling as an actor. And just just before we end this, we never really spoke about this. How are you finding the first 3 episodes?
Oh, I think they're great. I agree with you. I think John Cena really found a character that he can really lean into with his goof. Like he's like like that goofy heelish character. Like he's kind of a dumbass, but at the same time he's kind of like a lovable dumbass. Like
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
I can see what's her face, James Gunn's girlfriend, Jennifer Holland, I think. I can see her basically falling for him just because he's just a lovable dumbass.
I
By
don't
the end of it,
know. I don't know. Like in a world full of superheroes, I think she's a lot more wiser. On superheroes and supervillains, she's a lot more wiser to them. But
maybe.
some people did bring up the fact that there was a moment where Peacemaker put his game face on when it came to Rick Flag and Ratcatcher. Like he became kind of a scary character, and people
And
are
we
hoping
haven't
to
seen
see
that yet.
we haven't seen that yet in this. Yeah, he's full on. He's been full on goofball as well. But I was also thinking at times when we're seeing him effing and jeffing, fucking women, totally naked. You know what I mean? Doing drugs. I'm thinking to myself, what is Vince McMahon thinking right now? Can we still sell Fruity Pebble T-shirts?
Oh yeah.
After
A Train says people need to shut up now about how the flashbacks are useless. Clearly provide purpose. I'm going to disagree with you only because it's not that I ever.
I
said
agree with him, by the way.
It's not that I never said that they don't provide purpose. They just the Tuscan part went on way too long. I do like the fact that they went and they got the fire spray and all, like after he got out of the pit and he rescued Fennec whatever Fennec, and I always say it wrong.
Fennec
So Shand, yeah. So I never thought they were useless, but I just thought that they drug on way too much, especially the what's it called, the Tusken Raider parts. Just sometimes they just got on my nerves.
I want to quickly chime in. A-Train, I agree with you, mate. The flashbacks were absolutely awesome. They've been probably the best parts of this whole actual season. You know, like the best elements have been in the flashbacks. Got some decent character development with Boba Fett because he is a bit of a blank slate, so to speak. So they could do whatever they want with him, and we had to find out. We had to find out a bit more about him. And by the way, A-Train, I'm loving your name because I'm unlike my cohort next to me, who only likes children's television programming. I love The Boys. It's absolutely fantastic. One of the best, and he thinks it's Dark Justice League. Dark Justice League are not corporate characters like The Boys are. The Boys are corporate owned. Dark Justice League just happen to be dark characters who run shit. The Boys don't run shit. They're under control of a corporation, which is Vought. But nevertheless, A-Train, I agree with you. People are bitching on Twitter. Let them bitch, mate. Let them bitch.
As I said, I'm just glad that we are. As I said, I didn't say they were useless. I just said that they were drawn out a little bit too much. And I know you weren't attacking me personally. I just was giving my opinion just in case you hadn't heard it in the past. And as I said, as I've said in the past, I'm going to defend myself about The Boys now. As I said about The Boys, I said it's really well done and really well written. It's just not. It's not my.
It's too adult for him.
It. I'm just not excited about it like everybody else is. Like, will I watch it? Yeah. And also on top of that, they killed the fucking dolphin. So I mean, I have issue there.
And a whale.
So yeah,
those are the funniest parts.
So, but would I argue with anybody who says that The Boys is like one of the greatest like superhero television shows? Probably not, because it is really good. Don't get me wrong. I think it is really good. I think it's really well done. Anyway,
yeah, I can't wait for season 3 coming up. And I just want to also add as well, as we're wrapping things up now. So as I said before, we're going to be doing Peacemaker tomorrow, as well as Star Trek Prodigy, which I'll be just doing a review on this channel for tomorrow. But I just want to also mention that we've also hit 2,000 subscribers.
You beat me to it. I was going to bring it up if you didn't.
And I just want to thank everyone who has got us to that particular achievement. We are a tiny ass little channel, and sometimes we strike gold with some of the stuff we do, and sometimes we strike mold, I guess, with some of the stuff we do, and we kind of get lost in the mix. Everyone is talking about Book of Boba Fett. Everyone's talking about all the popular things, but we like talking about it too. So be a part of us, because thank you very much.
Thanks,
Hopefully you'll join us tomorrow for Prodigy and Peacemaker.
Are you living Prodigy? Or are you recording?
My Prodigy, I'll be doing a review on, but and I'll probably do a review on Peacemaker as well. But we will be here at 11:30 UK time, which is 6:30 Eastern time tomorrow, talking about Peacemaker episode 4. So be there for that. And I'm not sure if we've got anything on Friday.
I mean, we might do something wrestling related. I don't know if we've talked about that or not, or if I don't know. I mean, we're kind of open on Friday's kind of open right now. But we're actually trying to, now that we've hit 2K, we've actually talked about organizing things on the back end a little bit more. So we might, we do want to kind of get like some I want to call it Fan Service Friday or something like that, where we talk about wrestling and everything like that. And, like I know you and D Jose and maybe some other boss man can come in and talk about, wrestling stuff. And
yeah, we're trying to get William on board as well. But I mean, there was the news regarding this conglomerate called MLW. I'm not sure if they're a wrestling promotion themselves, but that's okay, A-Train. But they are trying to sue the WWE, and that's really all we got at this particular moment in time regarding news. So there might be a wrestling show tomorrow or not. And obviously, if there's any sort of trailers coming out, we'll be there to review that as well. A lot of Star Trek coming out soon too. So I hope you
That's
guys
our jam. Star Trek is our jam.
yeah, so it's just oh man, it's like there's just a lot to go on about as well. So and I'm gonna be yeah, go on.
I was gonna say, does Peacemaker? Does the boys drop weekly or does it drop all at once? I can't remember.
It dropped like a couple of episodes and then it became weekly after that.
Okay. Well, we'll
So,
definitely. I mean, I know we'll definitely be doing the boys. I mean, you know, so.
the Peacemaker is absolutely hilarious. I love it.
Oh,
Yeah,
I really I agree that the intro is annoying, like you know a lot of people say, but I mean, I
it
that
can be
doesn't,
skipped.
huh?
It can be skipped.
Yeah, I can skip it. Like that's why I'm like I watched it once and I'm like this is dumb. Skip. Like you know, it's not that big of a deal.
And regarding Peacemaker Maker as well, people have always wanted John Cena as a heel. You're never going to get him as a heel in the wrestling industry, but you will get him as a heel in Hollywood to a degree. That he's done some bad guy or some heelish sort of personas, you know, prior to Peacemaker, Suicide Squad being an example, Fast and the Furious, Bumblebee, stuff like that. So you will get those elements, and you know he is a natural born entertainer, extremely talented, and I'm loving this. I'm really glad to see him outside of the wrestling element. He belongs on television, and I can't wait for more. He's so fucking talented. This guy, he should have been on our screens a long time ago, prior to this, but I'm glad he's got here somehow. So yeah, it's the hybrid of the boys and Ash versus the Evil Dead for me. Yeah. I remember Ash versus the Evil Dead. It only lasted 3 seasons, dude. Absolutely gutted by it. Absolutely gutted by it. So, but yeah, if you want to take a look at our channel A Train, we've got a lot of like trailer reactions and movie reactions as well. Like I've done a few reactions to
And
certain
fan
films.
film reactions.
And fan film reactions too, yeah. But you know, there's a lot of people out there in YouTube world who make fan films of like things like The Punisher, Spider-Man, Batman, you name it, Star Trek,
Wars, Star Trek, yeah.
Wars,
Mhm.
Star Wars, you know, Wolverine. And they've done their own fan films and we reacted to that. Indiana Jones, yeah. That ending on Ash, yeah, it was. I mean, I wanted to see him in the future, but at least he got a new hand, though. You know, I was happy for him for that. But yeah, but all right then. Look, we need to wrap things up because it's getting late for me as I'm in the UK. Don't forget to anyone who's still watching us. We've only got 8 to 9 people so far, but hopefully we'll get some more in the future. But anyone still watching this, don't forget to like, share, subscribe to NerdTube, with the greatest YouTube channel you've never heard of. And on top of that, we'll be back on tomorrow talking about Peacemaker. Take care, live long and prosper, my friends. Bye bye.